Nobody can tell me anything factual about what is happening.
People in the town of Vienna are angered over a proposal for a new data center. What made matters worse this afternoon?
The Trump administration is denying Wisconsin federal assistance after this summer's historic flooding. The reason from FEMA and how Democrats are responding.
And we got even colder than forecasted last night. Temperatures in some cases in the teens. What can you expect tonight? And will we have any more frost? I'm going to let you know.
Hello, everybody, and thanks for watching News 3 Now at 5. Happy Friday.
It's Friday, everyone. Eric Franke is out today. Well, let's start with a look at your first warn forecast. Chief Meteorologist Alex Harrington is here in the studio. Don't let the sun fool you. It is kind of chilly out there.
Yeah, it is chilly. You need a jacket for sure. I call that the deceptive sunshine. When it's sunny, it looks really nice outside, but I probably need to have a jacket. And sometimes it happens in January and February, too, where you need more than just the jacket. And you needed more than just the jacket this morning. Look at these low temperatures: 21 Camp Douglas, 23 in the Dells, 26 in Madison, shattering our projections. We really bottomed out last night. And this ends the growing season. The National Weather Service will not issue any more frost advisories or freeze warnings, as I've been alluding to all week, because we had this hard of a frost and a freeze overnight. Right now, we got 52 in Madison. Surprisingly, the Dells going from the 20s up to 59. But will we see those temperatures dip down enough for still some frost? I'll let you know when I come back in a couple of minutes.
All right, thank you, Alex. Right now, community members in a town outside of DeForest say they're frustrated with local leaders.
Today, board members in the town of Vienna were supposed to hear public comment about a proposal to build a data center, but that meeting was canceled roughly an hour beforehand. Tanisha Shaw shows us.
I'm extremely angry about it. I can't really say the words I feel on television, so I'll just keep those to myself, and you can decide for yourself.
People from the town of Vienna and surrounding areas were greeted with this sign when they tried to attend a special meeting Friday.
To have it be canceled right before it started, when people started showing up, it really raised some more red flags.
I also learned that it was at 1 p.m., which seems like a very suspicious time.
Vienna board members canceled the meeting about an hour before its scheduled time. Town clerk Kathleen Clark says they weren't ready to hold the meeting yet.
The board has not had a moment to even look at the document, and we felt that in the best interest of all the residents and the public that they had more time to review the document.
Clark is in an appointed position and says once the board members received a proposal for a data center in Vienna, they scheduled a meeting.
The reason it was convenient is everyone that is on our town board is available during the day, and we just wanted to have a chance to review it when it became public record.
Everyone I spoke to was very surprised to see that this meeting was canceled with very short notice, especially since everyone said that what they want most right now is transparency.
What concerns me is that these conversations have been going on for weeks, months, let's say, and there really aren't any, not that I have seen, official information.
But it does affect everybody around here, and so everybody around here should be paying attention, but they can't pay attention if they don't know.
I will have more on this story tonight at 6. Reporting in the town of Vienna, Tanisha Shaw, News 3 Now.
Tanisha, thank you. The Dane County Board of Supervisors is urging the Department of Ag Trade and Consumer Protection to revoke an embattled beagle breeder's license. Last night, the board overwhelmingly voted in favor of DATCP taking action against Ridgeland Farms. An investigation from DATCP found the breeder had unqualified staff carry out procedures on the dogs without proper licenses. The board's vote comes ahead of the district attorney's decision on whether anyone from Ridgeland should face charges. That is something a representative for the farm says is problematic.
The results of that investigation are coming very soon, so we were hoping that they would delay their action until that happens.
Now, if DATCP decides to revoke Ridgeland's license, the beagles would go into custodial care amid the investigation.
We now know the name of the man who died in Lake Monona earlier this week. The Dane County Medical Examiner's Office says 56-year-old Stephen Hyman of Madison died on Wednesday, October 22nd. At about 12:30 that afternoon, Madison Police, Fire, and the Dane County Sheriff's Office all responded to recover Hyman's body. Hyman was pronounced dead at the scene. His death remains under investigation.
Well, take a look at this video. Sun Prairie police say it shows how a drone helped them arrest a drunk driver who crashed into a parked car. It happened on Wednesday this week. Sun Prairie PD says an officer patrolling the neighborhood found the crash on Davison Drive. Police say the driver was not in the area, and that's what prompted the drone's deployment. It found the 36-year-old suspect running through people's backyards. Officers arrested the man after a brief chase, and he is now facing charges for operating while intoxicated and hit and run.
To continuing coverage of this summer's historic floods in Wisconsin, we're learning impacted communities will not receive disaster assistance from the Federal Emergency Management Agency. The Trump administration has decided to deny assistance to Door, Grant, Milwaukee, Ozaukee, Washington, and Waukesha counties. In its letter to the governor, FEMA said the damage assessment's results did not warrant assistance. The estimated damage to public infrastructure comes out to more than $26 million. Governor Tony Evers is appealing the Trump administration's decision. U.S. Senator Tammy Baldwin is supporting that move and asking Republicans to do the same. A statement from the senator reads in part, "No community can pick up these pieces alone, and Wisconsinites need support so they can rebuild and be on the road to recovery." She says, "I hope my Republican colleagues will join me in calling on the Trump administration to step up to the plate and be here for Wisconsin communities left in the lurch."
The newest Wisconsin Supreme Court justice will not participate in a decision to suspend attorney and former Supreme Court Justice Michael Gableman's law license. Justice Susan Crawford recused herself from the proceeding, which marks the final step in sanctioning Gableman. Gableman committed several conduct violations during and after his investigation of the 2020 presidential election results in Wisconsin.
Well, that investigation began in 2021 when Assembly Speaker Robin Vos hired him to review the election and recounts upholding President Joe Biden had won. The violations he made during that investigation include lying when he subpoenaed Wisconsin mayors and threatened to jail them if they didn't comply, to force Vos to expand the scope, cost, and length of his investigation, and promoting efforts to recall Vos from office after the speaker effectively ended the investigation. The probe ultimately cost Wisconsin's taxpayers more than $2 million. In the order in which she recused herself, Crawford said those violations happened in the courtroom of a judge she was frequently in contact with. Her order reads in part, "I believe it is likely I was exposed to information and impressions related to Attorney Gableman's conduct and demeanor in the circuit court that fall outside of the record before this court. For that reason, I recuse."
Well, we are just about a year out now from the 2026 midterm elections with relatively new state legislative district maps.
Elie LaLiberte sat down with the State Assembly Speaker Robin Vos and the chair of the Democratic Party of Wisconsin this week to hear how both parties are gearing up.
Well, Brady, Susan, I talked confidence with both leaders. The Democrats say they feel like for the first time in decades they have a chance to flip the assembly, while Republicans know it could be close. Speaker Vos says he's confident that he'll maintain his House. Now, we also talked about statewide races. For the first time since 2010, we have an open field for governor. So there are 2 candidates on the Republican primary, about 8 in the Democratic primary. Take a listen to what Speaker Vos and Chair Remaker think of those candidates so far.
We have a crop of really exciting candidates, and I think right now this is actually a really unique opportunity for the Democratic Party. We, both in the party and I think voters in general, are looking to fresh leadership, fresh vision, new ideas.
We have 2 people running, one with more local government experience, one with more state and federal experience, both good men. I have no concerns about either of them being the nominee, so we'll let them go through the primary process, talk to voters, see who they connect with.
Now, in the spring of 2026, we also have a state Supreme Court race. And although it's technically nonpartisan, if Judge Chris Taylor wins, the liberal ideology would have a 5-2 majority. You can hear why Speaker Vos says that would be terrible for Wisconsin and why Remaker says it's necessary this Sunday morning at 10:30 on For the Record.
Thank you, Ellie. Still ahead at 5, UW-Madison launches an effort the chancellor says will strengthen civil dialogue on campus.
We'll take a look at what exactly that initiative seeks to do.
And Christian Watson will be back on the field for the Pack on Sunday. What fans can expect from the wide receiver, who's returning after months off due to an injury.
You're watching News 3 Now at 5.
Well, UW-Madison launched a new initiative this week to help promote open dialogue on campus.
The Wisconsin Exchange's Pluralism in Practice aims to help students, faculty, and staff engage productively with those who have differing views. Maren Rosen reports.
UW-Madison says pluralism isn't just about allowing different views on campus, but interacting with those different views.
The United States is a politically divided country. Wisconsin is a politically divided state, and so it's not surprising that people with a wide variety of views are on campus, but it's also a college campus. There are more liberals than conservatives on campus.
43% of UW-Madison students say they would support disinviting speakers with viewpoints that may be considered offensive to some. But members of the Pluralism in Practice Initiative Committee say this is an opportunity to bring different people, speakers, and ideas to campus.
We also find that people tend to have productive conversations across lines of difference, and we find that there's a lot of growth that we can do in terms of thinking about how we understand free speech and how we understand giving ideas that we don't like an opportunity to shine.
Reporting in Madison, I'm Maren Rosen, News 3 Now.
Thank you, Maren. The Wisconsin Exchange is looking to award grants up to $10,000 to students and $50,000 to faculty who propose ideas to advance civil dialogue on campus.
That's a good inspiration.
Yes, I would say so.
The weekend is almost here. Big night, high school football playoffs tonight. A lot going on this weekend, Alex, as always.
Yeah, a lot going on this weekend, and what a cold start to Friday as we head into the weekend. Even colder than forecast, and I just want to call this out. This hard freeze ends the growing season for sure, with temperatures as cold as 21 this morning in Camp Douglas, waking up to 23 in the Dells, 26 in Madison, going down 39 here, and 27 in Janesville. It was definitely a chilly one out there. Chilly once again tonight. These are the three things you need to know. This weekend, mostly dry on the warm side. Next week will be just a touch cooler. The temperatures will dip down into the 50s. But let's look at our temperatures tonight. We'll do low to mid 30s, still cool enough that we could be looking at a little bit of patchy frost, but we won't see any frost advisories or freeze warnings issued by the National Weather Service because last night's hard freeze, that took care of business here for the growing season. Highs as we go into Saturday, low to mid 50s, cloudy skies, and we can't rule out the possibility of a shower as we go into Saturday as well. But they'll be few and far between. I'm not expecting widespread rain or any thunderstorms, but a very classic, as I look at my watch here, it is October. So a very October-like day. Cloudy skies, a couple of sprinkles, couple of showers, especially north of Madison, up towards Juneau, Adams, Marquette, and Green Lake counties. But we could get a sprinkle just about anywhere in southern Wisconsin, but plenty of clouds. And then they start to clear out as we go into Saturday evening. Current drought, I wanted to call this out because those drops aren't going to help out at all. We have widespread abnormally dry conditions across much of southern Wisconsin. Moderate drought stretching from Mineral Point to Darlington to Monroe over towards Janesville, with severe drought just south of the Wisconsin-Illinois border. And when you see the extended forecast, it's not looking good for water. And then speaking of the Friday night football games, chilly, you're going to want to bring that jacket tonight too. Temperatures at kickoff for many games at 40, 38 at halftime, 36 at the end of the game. At least the winds are not very strong out there. So you'll have that jacket, and if you want some gloves and a hat too, you will be plenty good for tonight. We'll do breezy conditions by the time we get to Sunday. The sun will return on Sunday, 59. Lows in the 40s for a good part of the start of the work week. That weather system that we were talking about earlier this week bringing rain, probably going to stay to our south, and so staying dry through the entirety here of that 10-day forecast. Halloween's also looking dry at this point right now, a little bit on the cool side, but even those cool temperatures, at least it's not like some of our past years where we've had snow and we've had alert day conditions. Speaking of weather, well, I'm doing the weather right now, but tomorrow we're going to keep talking about the weather at the Wisconsin Weather Festival. Blaze is on his way home, and I'm taking over here for the evening shows. But Blaze and I will be at the Wisconsin Energy Institute, that's downtown Madison, where you can come meet us. And I'm changing up our radars here so that you could have hands-on severe weather practice this using our weather tools that we use for severe weather coverage. That's going to be a nifty way for you to engage with the tools that we use here on the First Warn Weather Team and to round out the week and round out Friday. Karen, look at this picture from Montello. A beautiful, can't tell if this is a sunrise or sunset, but you see that gorgeous fall tree and those orange colors with that sunrise sunset. Thanks, Karen, for ending our week here on a beautiful note.
Yep, that's one to frame, Karen. Thank you. Thanks, Alex. Well, in just a couple of days, the Packers will be playing the Steelers.
It'll be the first time Christian Watson gets back in the game after an injury earlier this year. Senior Packers writer Jason Wilde is in Green Bay with how Matt LaFleur thinks he'll perform.
Packers wide receiver Christian Watson made it through his third consecutive practice this week, ramping up his workload as he looks to make his first game appearance since tearing his ACL in his right knee out here at Lambeau Field in the regular season finale back in January. Now, he is listed as questionable on the Packers injury report, but Matt LaFleur does have some guidelines for what he has to show in order to be activated.
I think a lot of it is just getting reacclimated. You're talking about a long layoff without football, just trying to build him up so that he can handle the demands of what are going to be placed upon him on game day.
Now, for Watson to be able to play in Sunday night's game in Pittsburgh, he would have to be activated to the 53-man roster from the physically unable to perform list by 3 p.m. on Saturday. Otherwise, he'll have to wait another week. The Packers are back here at Lambeau Field a week from Sunday to take on the Carolina Panthers. We'll have full coverage of everything related to Watson and everything Packers on our website, channel3000.com, for free. And while you're there, make sure you sign up for our newsletter, which delivers that coverage directly to your inbox every single day. In Green Bay at Lambeau Field, Jason Wilde, channel3000.com.
Thank you, Jason. And tonight, don't forget to tune into the Wisconsin Huddle. Sports director Andrew Banstra sits down with Badger legend and Pro Football Hall of Famer Joe Thomas. It starts at 6:30, immediately following News 3 Now at 6.
It's a jam-packed sports weekend. Well, next at 5, the U.S. Labor Department's latest inflation report is out.
Whether the new data is worrying Wall Street and the Federal Reserve.
Plus, an expanding endeavor will show you the United States' latest escalation in its efforts to combat alleged drug smugglers in Latin America. In national news, the Pentagon says the U.S. is sending an aircraft carrier strike group to the waters off Latin America.
This is a major escalation in the Trump administration's campaign to counter alleged drug traffickers. A Pentagon spokesman said on X that the enhanced U.S. presence will bolster the government's capacity to detect and disrupt illicit actors and activities. The carrier group joins 8 U.S. vessels that are already in the region. The news follows yet another strike on a vessel allegedly operated by a Venezuelan gang smuggling drugs.
An investigation is underway after police shot at a truck outside a California Coast Guard base during protests against a planned immigration crackdown in the Bay Area. Video shows officers opening fire on a U-Haul backing toward them. The driver then pulled forward and stopped and then took off. The Department of Homeland Security says the truck driver was wounded in the stomach and is being held for a mental evaluation. 2 civilians were hurt too. They're expected to survive. One bystander was also hit, but was treated and released from a hospital.
The president says he is ending trade talks with Canada over a television ad critical of U.S. tariffs. He made that claim on social media last night after Canada's prime minister said he wants to double exports to countries outside of the U.S. because of the threats Trump's tariffs pose. This morning, Congressman Mark Pocan talked about the impact halting trade talks could have.
Oh, well, of course, it's going to hurt us. I mean, you can't throw tariffs around indiscriminately and then not negotiate because you're mad about a pushback from one of the countries that you're having a trade war with.
Meanwhile, the president claims the Canadian ad, which Canada's federal government did not pay for, misstated facts and was aimed at influencing U.S. court decisions.
The Labor Department's latest inflation report is out today. It shows while inflation slowed from August, It remained elevated in September. Consumer prices for a range of goods rose at their fastest pace of 2025. During September, annually, inflation ticked up at a rate of 3%, pushing the top line number higher, gas prices, which shot up 4%, 1% last month. Still, inflation is rising slower than many economists expected when the president imposed his tariffs, a relief for Federal Reserve officials. On Wall Street, stocks soared in reaction to the news. The Dow closed 473 points higher. The Nasdaq is up 263. The S&P 500 finished the day up 53 points.
Social Security benefits are going to go up next year. In 2026, recipients will get 2.8% more per month. That's higher than the 2.5% cost of living adjustment that beneficiaries got this year. But it's still less than the increases from years prior when inflation was spiking during and after the pandemic. Well, stay with us. Still ahead at 5, a nice weekend ahead, but Alex is still tracking some potential frost.
He'll take a final check of our weather when we come back.
Coming up later on News 3 Now at 6, we'll hear more from people in the town of Vienna who are angry about the last-minute cancellation of a meeting about a new data center.
This weekend, Wisconsin Vintage Fest returns. This year's festival features more than 80 vendors with a selection of vintage clothing, accessories, home goods, records, and much more. The free event is tomorrow, Saturday, October 25th, from 11 to 5 at Monona Terrace on John Nolan Drive. You can find some sweaters for
treasures.
this weekend. Yeah.
Yes.
You have to bundle up if you're heading out for high school playoff football tonight.
Yes, 30s tonight, clear skies. At least the winds aren't going to be terrible tonight. And then this is what we wake up to Saturday morning. From Madison areas off towards the east, I think we're going to still see some patchy frost with lows in the low to mid 30s, near 40, but then we'll be near 60 by Sunday.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
All right, nice weekend ahead. Thank you, Alex. Thanks for watching at 5, everybody. The CBS Evening News is coming up next, and we'll be back in 30 minutes for News 3 Now.